This 950 Super Enduro, show the camera down here, has these awesome Motoz Tractionator Adventure Tire. Take a look at the amount of wear that we got. And this worn out Tractionator Adventure with 5,000 miles on it is still putting this type of bite down in the sand. What's up, guys? My name's Kyle Bradshaw, and this here is Moto City, and welcome to episode 4 of Motoz Mondays. Today we're taking a look at the Motoz Tractionator Adventure Tire. Now this tire was really a game changer in the whole adventure tire segment. Prior to this tire coming out, we had basically the TKC80 or the Heidenau K60 Scout. You got to make your choice on which one of those two tires you wanted to run. We also had the Motoz EO7, which people loved, but they were very difficult to get here in the USA. Anyway, back to the adventure tire. This thing was tried and true. This thing was developed in Australia. I mean, these Tractionator adventure tires were made for the outback in Australia. They're made for Baja, made for Dakar. They're really a true enduro tire. The amount of traction and performance that I'm feeling on this BMW down here today, these tires are awesome. These tires are gonna give you traction and they're gonna give you longevity. Now, when I was testing this tire for Motoz, I put it on my bike, and the first twist of the throttle through this grassy field, I was like, "Rah!" Dude, my bike's pounding off the rev limiter, and it felt like I wasn't getting as much traction as I thought I was gonna get, until I pulled back around and saw that I had dug a trench at least 8 inches deep, just completely tearing up the ground. This thing dug so deep and so fast, it felt like I didn't have traction. But once I learned how to moderate the throttle a little bit, I found that I had extreme traction with this tire. So what made this Tractionator Adventure Tire so different, you might ask? Well, longevity, number one, and then the amount of off-road traction that you get with that longevity was really number two. The Continental TKC80 has been the staple in the marketplace for such a long time. It does a really good job on road. It does a great job off-road. It's basically a solid piece of rubber that's been molded with blocks that come out of the carcass that allow you to have traction when riding off-road. It excels in the dirt, and it excels on tarmac. It allows you to stick to the pavement railing through twisties. Now the caveat to that is that rubber is very soft, and that soft rubber wears away very quickly. But I personally can't get 2,000 miles out of a set. They just completely roast off the back, and the front has an issue with uneven wearing and that trailing edge getting worn down faster than the front, and you get this chattering when you come to a stop. I mean, it's a great tire, and it does its job, but its longevity is really short. Now the Tractionator Adventure came out. Now this thing was a leader in 100% all-natural rubber. That all-natural rubber allowed it to be able to stick to the pavement really well, get great longevity, and the actual tread depth that they built into this tire is about 1/3 more tread than you're gonna get on a TKC80. Now let's take a quick look at the actual tread depth of the tire. Right around 14 30-seconds or 11 millimeters. Here we're looking at about 15 millimeters or 18 30-seconds. All right, so let's take a quick look at the durometer reading of this tire. On the rear tire here, it looks like we have right around 77 on the durometer reading or so. And on the front tire, it looks like we're right, it's a lot softer. Looks like right around the 72 range. Now, when this tire was released, it really was a winner. You're getting almost triple the amount of miles that you're getting out of a TKC80. On this guy here, I can get almost 6,000 miles. That's a huge difference. I got 5,000 miles out of the set of these tires here on the 950. Now, this set of tires probably has 2,000 miles on it or so. And that's where Motoz comes into the game. They created the Tractionator Adventure Tire that when I put on my 950 Super Enduro for that testing I talked about earlier, I was getting upwards of 4,500 miles out of that tire. Now, yes, the Tractionator Adventure was just a hair more expensive than a TKC80, but it lasted more than double the amount of mileage that I got out of the TKC80. Not only in actual tread duration, but also changing the tires. You're talking 3 tire changes to one of these. That's gonna save you several $100s when you take your wheels off and take them down to the shop. Something to consider. Now, that's about half the longevity that you get out of, say, a Heidenau K60 Scout, but this thing is going to perform off-road way better than that tire. Now, if you're really looking for a comparison between the Heidenau K60 Scout and a Motoz tire, you're going to want to take a look at the Tractionator GPS series that we have coming up next week. Anyway, back to the Adventure Tire. Now, initially when this tire was released, there was a winter compound and a summer compound. I got to test both of those compounds. What we have now is basically a hybrid of those two that allows you to have the best of both worlds. Now, Motoz is calling this a 70-30 tire, 70% off-road and 30% on-road. But I'm really leaning this thing towards one of the ultimate 50-50 tires, or even 100%, 100%. You can ride this tire 100% off-road and you're gonna love its performance. You can run this tire 100% on-road and you'll love its performance as well. Those percentages are really askew, especially when you look at how each of the different manufacturers rates their tires. Now, I'm looking at the RallZ tire last week. The distance between the lugs themselves are just over an inch. Now, when it comes to the Adventure Tire, which is going to be the more street-oriented tire out of this group, even though it's a very aggressive off-road tire, you're going to see a gap here of about 3/4 of an inch. As we move closer down the range now to the more dirt-oriented tire that's still great for street, we're looking at exactly an inch. And then we get to the Desert HT, which is the more dirt-oriented tire. We're looking at 1.5 inches between these lugs. It's a significantly closer gap, and that's going to allow this tire to be quieter on the highway, smoother on the highway, and it's also going to allow it to be able to get greater mileage than that of the RallZ tire. Whoa! It said these tires are way harder than I would normally run. What was it, 33 in the front and 36 in the rear? I might have to stop and let some pressure out. Woo! Yeah, the tire pressure gauge. There we go. 30 PSI on the nose. Tractionator Adventure Tire comes in both tube type and tubeless type applications. The tube type applications are more for the smaller dual sport to smaller displacement adventure motorcycles. So we're looking at anything with a single cylinder or a single seat. That's what the tube type tire is really going to fit best on. And then the tubeless tires are going to be for the larger two-seat multiple cylinder adventure motorcycles. The actual carcass of the tires are thicker and more robust, and they're just going to do better for that larger adventure bike segment. Now, if you're riding Africa Twin or a T7 that have tube type tires or tube type wheels, you're going to run the tubeless tire in those applications, and you're just going to fit a tube into the tire when you do that installation. You can absolutely run any of these Motoz tires with a tube without any fear at all whatsoever. So the Tractionator Adventure Tire from Motoz, highly recommended if you're looking for lots of mileage, great traction off-road on a tire that's going to be able to rail through the twisties. If you're looking at any of these tires here in the Motoz tire line, please get them from Motor City Parts. The link is down below. And if you have any questions about these tires, please leave me a comment. If you got this far, give it a big thumbs up. Review of the Adventure Tire segment. We're going to get into the specific details of each of these tires over the next several weeks. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when those new videos are released. I'm Kyle Bradshaw, and this here is Motor City. Thank you guys for watching. Till next time, take care and ride safe out there.